Well, let's bring in Chilaka Njoku, CEO Sputnet Limited, and a stakeholder, I believe, apparent in this for this particular examination. You've heard from the JAMB Registrar. Specifically, the board is saying that there was a significant technical error. How do you react to this admittance?
Well, I'll give them some credit for being bold and confident enough to accept there's a mistake. That's a good quality for leadership. But there's a lot that needs to be corrected. First of all, the name as it goes has board at the end of it. JAMB is supposed to have a board, a management board. As I speak now, I know there's none in existence for some years now. The Minister of Education needs to do something about it to avoid a recurrence, because we're doing everything in this country to keep people here, to stop people, smart people from leaving the country. We can't keep, making the young ones lose hope, because if you talk to 90% of young people in Nigeria, they want to leave. So when they experience this kind of things, they really get frustrated and they want to leave them more. So we need to take proper, measures to ensure that this doesn't happen again. Institute a board. One person cannot take decisions. There's a reason why there's a board. So there will be diverse and more widespread suggestion on solutions to issues. So also, whatever the glitch is, we need to know what it is so people can have more trust in what they're doing and the exams they're doing in the future.
It sounds like you're giving a long-term solution to this challenge. We'll get back to this conversation shortly. Let's just quickly inform our viewers that we're going to interrupt our regular programming to bring you a live coverage from for the second anniversary of Governor Dauda Lawal, the inauguration of completed phase 2 of renovated state secretariat by the state governor. But this broadcast continues on all of our platforms, especially YouTube, TVC News, Nigeria. Mr. Njoku, let's talk about the challenge that we're faced with right now, because JAMB now says about 370,000 students can rewrite this exam starting May 16. What do you make of that timeline? Do you think the students have enough time to get themselves psychologically ready for a resit?
Well, I think it's a little bit of too short a time, and like my son is involved as well. Now I have to take him to a location where he's going to take an exam, which is about an hour, 30 minutes from where we reside. It's not every parent that is available to be able to make this kind of swift movement. His exam is tomorrow by 9 a.m. tomorrow. So, but we cannot make that journey tomorrow morning because you don't know what you experience on the way. I think it's a bit too sudden. They should have given at least a week. They're just too much in a hurry to remedy the damage they put in place. But I think it's better than, resisting acceptance of what they did wrong. And something else happened. I was surprised when the Minister of Education went to make utterances that are not positive, because it's his responsibility as a minister to ensure that the performance of people in exams are good, because the educational system is under his care. But it was first to run out to say that poor performance is because they've curbed malpractices, insinuating that the young people in Nigeria are doing well in academics because of malpractices. It's okay to curb malpractices, but it's not okay for a minister with such a status to come out in the public space where the whole world can hear him to insinuate that Nigerian youths are involved in malpractices. That's why they're doing well. Our kids are doing well across the world. In the West, they're setting records everywhere. We should appreciate this. We should encourage them to do this, not to take away the confidence in them or call them bad names.
Well, good thing is that JAMB has set the record straight now, admitting that it has significant technical error during this particular exams. There are conversations as to whether or not these figures are accurate or it's just a response to those who have raised complaint. But I spoke with the president of the Association of Proprietors of Private Schools earlier, who recommended that perhaps the exam should be held quarterly and the students don't have to wait once in a year to write JAMB. What do you make of that suggestion?
I think it's a good suggestion, and I'm sure there are other measures that can be put in place. I also think the minister should quickly, constitute a board for JAMB, so we'll have more people having this discourse, because now we're getting all sorts of suggestions because more people are involved. So they need to get the right fits for the board, and if JAMB as a body, is not serving the purpose for which it's there, then the institutions will be allowed to take, set up their own exams to test students who they want to admit. Because they were quick to bring out records showing poor performance and a trend of poor performance in JAMB. The question is why? People shouldn't be having 20 and 30% passing or success rate in exams. That means there's something wrong with that exam or the way it is being administered. So I think they need to put a board in place. And for the registrar, he has apologized, but it's also not out of place if he honorably bows out for someone else to take charge of what happens in JAMB. I think a resignation is also in line if he can do that. What he has done so far is honorable. We'll advise him to also resign and give someone else a chance to try.
Well, that sounds like a very hard stance, but people, public officials hardly resign in Nigeria. He was quite emotional when he was giving that speech. Sounds like he was making honest comment about the development, and it looked sorry. So it sounds like you don't think Nigerians should give him a second chance, especially given how bold he has been in the past years and how engaged he's been in also upgrading that board.
Well, he has played his role. I believe we have 200 million Nigerians, and there are much younger, smart people also available to do this. I'm so pained because I know I heard a parent lost a child to this. A lot of parents, there's a family I spoke to on Monday when I was trying to find out what was going on about these results. And a renowned professor, was crying. He said his whole family was downcasted the whole weekend. They couldn't do anything. His son couldn't eat. The depression you put families and people who look forward or look up to these kids during this period is so much. I mean, it's not too much for him to leave the job. He can serve in other roles. Let him give another person a chance. So that will also establish more confidence in Nigerians in what JAMB does in the future, because he has failed. Yes, he has been succeeding in the future, or in the past rather. But I mean, it shows now that maybe something better can be done. We can give it a chance. Let's try someone else. Let's try a new fit. Leaving a job or a position or a role is not the end of the world. The other things he could do.
All right. Good place to leave it. Chilaka Njoku is CEO of Sputnet Limited and an interested parent in this development. He mentioned that his son also participated in that exam. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.